Okay, here's another experiment. So I've been watching Jane Davies, Susie Dennis, the Mary Atelier, do lots of different things, painted papers and clear acrylic skins and all kinds of things. And so I decided I would try it. This is a non-stick craft sheet. It's actually not a craft sheet. Sorry, I take that back. This is a non-stick sheet used to freeze dry, like, or dehydrate vegetables and things. They come in a big pack of them on Amazon. I think the whole pack, it was like 10 sheets. I don't remember. They're like $20 for the whole pack. Anyway, I use them in between my art journal pages and for different things, and they get schmutzed up and I clean them. They do have some cuts in them because, you know, I wasn't super careful with them. But they work still. And I was going to clean them, and then I had the idea to use the sheet. It's already schmutzed up. Add some more paint to it, let it dry, add some more paint to it, let it dry. Let's try one of those, like, acrylic skin techniques with these schmutzed up craft sheets. So last night I put some fabric paint on here, and I started doodling basically with fabric paint. I've got some more. I'm using fabric paint because I have a lot of it. So I'm going to do some more doodles with my black fabric paint, and then I'm going to let it dry, maybe overnight. Fabric paint takes a long time to dry. And each layer, this is going to be probably a multi-layered, multi-day process. But I'm going to film it for you guys, and we'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to do this, and I will be back. Okay, so here I am adding the black fabric paint, and the cuts are getting in my way, and I don't know that it's on camera or not, but I do end up putting some tape on them on the back side to tape them shut. When you're experimenting this and doing it, work backwards. So you want to create your top layer first and then your back layer last, because when you pull it off, everything that you put on there first is going to be what shows on the front side. So you have to change your thinking. We normally work from the back forward, and this time you want to work the other way around. Okay, our black fabric paint is dry on here. I don't see. What else do I want to do? I think I'm going to add some sparkle. See, sparkle. This is Viva Decor Crystal Gel Hologram. I think we're going to add some of this. Let's see. Because who doesn't like a little sparkle? Oh yeah, I don't know if you can see that. That's really cool. Oops. So that's pretty cool. What else do we want to put on there before we let it dry? Maybe just some plain paint. I'm thinking not that color. I don't know, maybe that color. Maybe this one. This one's already open. It's almost the same color. Let's see. Okay, we're going to let that dry and we'll be back.
Okay, here I decide to start a second one with this other sheet that's pretty schmutzed up with all different colors. And on this one, I start with fabric paint and let it dry. And then I actually collage on a few smaller pieces of tissue from my scrap bucket under the table. Of course, I did all this and filmed it and forgot to turn the lights on. And, you know, because, you know, that's just so brilliant to do things in the dark and film them. Here on the blue one, I am adding some Mod Podge, and you'll notice my Mod Podge obviously was old and sitting for a while because, ew, yeah, that was a just giant disgusting blob. So, yeah, I dumped that off into the trash can. And then I shake up the Mod Podge. Now I'm using Mod Podge for paper, which is a matte Mod Podge, because that's what I had. In the other videos by the other artists, the Mary Atelier and Susie Dennis, they all use the regular gloss Mod Podge. Again, I wanted to use up what I had, and this particular bottle is old. I used to do book sculptures, and I would soak the books in giant buckets of Mod Podge and Elmer's, and this was a leftover from that, and it has like dried up Mod Podge skins and blobs and things in it, so yeah, it's kind of icky, but it worked. So I'm going to cover the whole thing with some Mod Podge here, and then you'll see me get out some white tissue paper and put white tissue paper in the wet Mod Podge, and then put some more on top of that. You do need quite a few layers of Mod Podge for this, and at the end you'll see that I also put on some matte medium to help keep it flexible.
Hey guys, so I put a layer last night, as you saw, of Mod Podge on here. It's not ready to pull off yet, although I'm getting really anxious to see what happens when you do. It needs more Mod Podge, and as you saw, my Mod Podge is kind of old, and I only have the matte, so we're going to use that because I want to use it up. I'm going to, I think, put some more Mod Podge on here along with some white tissue. I'm really anxious to see what happens. Oh, it does pull up. Okay. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay, so I'm going to get some white tissue, And we're going to put that on here and layer of Mod Podge under it, layer of Mod Podge over it, and let that dry. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this other one that I also started last night. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back with my white tissue paper. See? So I'm going to just tear off what I need, or cut off what I need. Let's see. Cut it. As you know from the previous video, this Mod Podge is old, so I'm going to shake it up a little bit. So I really don't use it anymore. I like Collage Podge better. But when I used to do book sculptures, and yes, I've done those, I actually use Mod Podge for that, along with Elmer's and water. You soak the book in that mixture. So yes, that means you have to have a lot of it. But you want to get the pages wet, and then while they're wet, you shape them and shape the book so that it's open. Curl some of the edges or whatever, and then let it dry. So at one time I used a lot of Mod Podge. Okay, that looks good to me. Put this on there. And let's put some more. Occasionally you may see a lump of dried up Mod Podge come out of the jar. That's one of the things that happened yesterday. I think I caught that on camera. It was just not attractive. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to let that dry. Move the whole thing over here. So now I have this one, which I started up last night. It was already, nicely marked up with, paint splatters and things from my art journal. So then I had this idea. I have this box. These are scraps, some of which I'm going to use in the Hannah Montana journal, but I thought, why don't I use some of them on here? I like that idea. So over the paint, we're going to put tissue. I'm not going to cover the whole thing. So once this dries, I'll probably put more paint. Excuse me, yes, I'm still sick. I've had this cold this winter, like everybody else, a few times. The only difference is when I get it, it makes my asthma act up. I cough a lot. Well, I cough all the time anyway. Yeah, it's just not good. Okay, let's see. So we're going to just lay these pieces down randomly. They can be wrinkly. It doesn't matter. I'm going to make sure I put the tissue paper face down because this is all going to be backwards. So I think the only trick to doing this is to make sure that you're working in the opposite way that you're used to working. So you want your final marks to be the first marks. It's a little bit confusing. Trying to decide if I want to put anything else on there. There's another piece of that plaid tissue. Let's put that on there and then we'll set it aside and let it dry. Oops. I keep moving this little piece of red tissue around. And these are a combination of tissue papers and napkins. Okay, I think that's it. I think one thing we're going to do to this, something I saw the Mary Atelier do, it never occurred to me. I've been complaining for a while now that I love the Delusions ink, but sometimes I wish they were permanent. Well, she sprayed some into the wet Mod Podge, so I think we're going to do that on here. This is one that's almost done. Use this up. I know that's a lot, but let's just use it up. There's not that much in there. It's an experiment, so it doesn't matter. Okay, leave it sit and let it dry, and we'll be back.
Okay, so here we are putting some more Mod Podge over the Delusions because I really want it sealed in. I didn't quite let it dry enough at one point, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. It didn't make any difference to the final product. And you do see I have a jar of something else on the table beside the Mod Podge. That's the matte medium. I do have 2 or 3 layers of Mod Podge on here already. This is the final layer, and I don't wait for the Mod Podge to dry to put the matte medium on. I don't think that's going to make a big difference. it didn't seem to. It seemed to pull off fine and was nice and flexible. And there I am showing you. It's Liquitex Matte Medium. I can't get the lid open because it's been a while since I used it, so I have to smack it on the table to get it open. And that's going to be a problem when I have my arm surgery and I'm one-handed, because I'm not going to be able to do that. I might have to go through my jars and bottles and put little pieces of wax paper in the lids so that they don't stick shut or something. So I'm not super neat about this. I'm not too worried. It's going to dry clear. I don't really care too much if it's blobby or not. And you need to let it dry like completely overnight before you even try and think about pulling it off. So I did this right before I was going to bed. That way I wasn't going to be tempted to play with it. Now I do the same thing to the one with the white tissue paper on it. I put one final coat of Mod Podge, and then while it's still wet I put in some matte medium just to keep it flexible. And that seemed to work great on both of them. But I did them right before I went to bed so that I wasn't tempted to mess with it, and it dried overnight before I pulled it off.
Hi guys! Okay, so our acrylic skins experiments are finally ready to pull free. And I'm kind of excited and nervous all at the same time. But let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's see. So you gotta find a good spot to pull it away from. And start off slow. Don't rush it. Woohoo! It's working. Look at that. So this is the one with tissue paper. It's stuck right here. Let's see. There we go. Look at that. Not only do I have this really great acrylic skin now, but my nonstick craft sheet is clean. I like that. So that's cool. So this is the one with the tissue paper backing. Alright, let's do the other one. Look at that. That is so cool. It has all the little bits of paint on it that were on the nonstick craft sheet. Very cool. So, and I'm thinking that probably to store them between some wax paper, and I'm going to use them as collage elements on like painted papers and things. So very cool. Thank you, Susie Dennis and the Mary Atelier, and why don't you guys give it a try, because boy, is it sure a lot of fun, and it's a great way to not only clean your craft sheets, but use up some of those like scraps of tissue and things that you have laying around on your table. Now you will notice on this one, because I put dilutions on there and it's kind of stained this a little bit. That may come off, it may not. I'm not super worried about it. I may just keep using this for more collage images and see if I get a ghost print from that ink. That would be fun. So anyway, give it a shot. Have a good day. Don't forget to do something nice for yourself today. I'll see you later. Bye.